playtime, so they were able to connect during those 5 minutes of playtime, but that does mean PDHM starts with a 1-game advantage in this series, and that can't be doing a lot for the morale and confidence of this Noble roster.
I mean, that is huge, especially you come into a playoffs match, and like we talked about earlier on, this isn't a best of 7, this is a best of 5. So losing that 1 game is that much more important. PDHM starting off strong without even doing anything, and that's a frustrating aspect of Noble's game, but they got to pick it up mentally and make sure that that doesn't get down on their mental or tilt them whatsoever, because that is a very frustrating issue.
Also pray for Firefox's router. Make sure, hopefully it doesn't re-disconnect. That would be tragic, as he's through the arrow, the shot onto the backboard. Deflected well by Drafinho. Renan places it high. Sad, not the best of contact, but Leo to pick it up. Now pinch across the field, Drafinho up for it and into the corner. Renan out of net to the top of 1. Sad onto the backboard. Leo up for it. Beats Habercamper back down into the box. We'll see Firefox dribble that one away. Now to safety. First minute going to come and go. No goals here in game 2.
Yeah, we've got a more defensive play here from Noble, and you can see the confidence from PDHM, especially after getting that first game. They are on the attack, a lot of good midfield presence. They're banging a lot of shots off the backboard as well, which is something I've noticed. So maybe Noble will slip up in that department, but so far the defense looking good.
Firefox on the deflection. Now the pass outwards, intercepted by Sad onto the backboard. Plays it over the top of 1. Drafinho up for it. Back down to Sad, looking for the shot to the upper 90. It's just a bit wide, and Leo can't quite get the rebound. Sad now trying to cover it up, but here comes Renan and Firefox bearing down on the 1 goal. He flicks it above him. Here's Firefox for the shot to the bottom corner. Deflected by Sad, coming out of net. We'll stay at scoreless.
Oh, and if Noble can hold on to this defensive stance, these guys have really solid counterattacks. You even see Renan going for a solid flick. It was just a little bit too high. They couldn't get the follow-up, but counterattacking is Noble's game at this point because their defense is not letting up.
Drafinho plays it into his own corner. Wins a challenge to get it to midfield, but Renan to turn it back around now into the box. Sad out to Leo. Now back into the box again. Played it long down the field and bumps. Nearly pave a solid path into the goal. Nice rotational defense. Cleared away. Leo to try B1 Renan. Takes a shot, and Drafinho's got a handle. Renan to pass back down to Habercamper. Takes the shot again. Sad's got the block in the top upper third.
Oh, I'm loving the passing as well that we see from Noble. Right out the gates, I feel like you can tell Noble a step ahead. They have been on the defensive side more, but the passing and the vision on the field to find their teammates just seems a little bit more superior than their opponents. PDHM, I like a couple of chances they've been creating, but so far it's nothing too special. Meanwhile, Noble, good counterattacks, beautiful midfield passing, and at this point we're just waiting for one of those passes to connect to a good shot.
Oh, the pass up to Renan. Oh, they both miss. Habercamper's up for it on the 3rd attempt here. Double tapped it, but he goes flip reset. Nearly made the play to get the first goal, but it won't happen. Still scoreless. Going to 145. Firefox now in the air. He's got 30 boosts left to go for. Sad will block him. Renan gets blocked. Third player. Habercamper up for it. No, leaves it. Both goalies went and neither one touched it. Habercamper could have had a free shot. But now here comes PDHM back down the other side of the field into the mid. There's through 1 up against Habercamper. Stalls it out. But Renan a little bit too far upfield. It's going to be all up to Habercamper here. So he plays it into the orange, sets it up for Renan, shoots to the far post and scores. Noble's on the board.
Oh, Habercamper, he got 2 shots on net, missed both of them, then comes out here with a beautiful fake. It looks like he's going to make a touch there. I even saw a little spark on his car, but he ended up leaving it for Renan to fake. He was the decoy with that shot. A beautiful follow-up then from Renan. These guys really looking like they have every step planned out.
PDHM got gifted game number 1, but here comes Noble actually making it happen on the field. 1:10 on the clock. PDHM yet to get to the back of the net. Sad over 1. Drafinho airborne. And Renan will beat him. Drops it to Firefox. Gives it back into the midfield. Habercamper's up for it. He's not going to find a shot on the first touch or the second. Now back in front. Renan to place it towards the backboard. Leo, long way out. Drafinho to help. Habercamper plays it into his own corner. Renan there to try and take control, but Sad gets it over the top of him. This bounce is fortunate. Firefox with an excellent block as Leo wanted to come in and make that final shot, tie up the game. Renan onto the wall once more. The ball bouncing in midfield loose. Drafinho and Leo double commit here into the corner. No second touch. Firefox with the clear, and Sad will pick up midfield boost. Beaten by Firefox into the box. Drafinho long play. Sad full tank. Looking to connect with Leo. Intercepted by Renan. Drafinho now to the corner with 13 seconds left. Only a 1-goal game. PDHM going to try and do it here in the waning moments. Havercamper's got control. Underneath Sad, now onto the wall. Past Drafinho as well. It's all up to Leo. Doesn't make solid contact with 2 seconds left. The game's starting to look out of reach for PDHM. Can Sad get underneath this one? They pinch it down, but Sad's completely out of boost. Havercamper behind 2. Drafinho's got to get up boost and catch this. Does so well underneath 2 and manages to pinch it against Renan.
It's still up.
That was impressive there, the way they kept that one up for a bit. Noble, though, only team to score a goal and immediately tie up the series.
Yeah, and that was a huge bounce back, especially with the rough start in the beginning with Firefox's internet. But they come out here in the first game for them, at least on the field, and they have a strong showing. And those 50 midfield challenges, that was insane to close out this first game. You could see in the final moments, every time they'd push up in the midfield, they were winning that challenge, keeping the pressure on, wasting even more time. And PDHM, they couldn't even get a solid opportunity, maybe in the later half of that game. What was it, 2.5 minutes, where we barely saw them on offense, and that was all thanks to the passing and the vision from Noble.
Yeah, Noble definitely held down the midfield. And here's the thing, like Gibbs brought it up. It's passing and demos that equal the huge money. I didn't see many passes or demos from PDHM, so the huge money is still left on the table. I'm hoping to see a little bit more of that action from them here in Game 3.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. I mean, you need the passing, you need the demos, you need all of those great aspects of Rocket League, especially at this level, and we're not seeing really any of it. And keep in mind, these guys faced off in the South American Grand Series #2. I believe it was Phase 2 in playoffs, and this is a good start. Leo missed it off the top of the box. What happened there? He should have gotten a touch, and he failed to get one.
All he had to do was touch it. In any way, shape, or form, that ball was going in. But they'll still keep looking for that first goal. The challenge in the corner now. Sad trying to get it in front of the box. Neither of his teammates really in a good place to help him out either, so he was going to need to play that one all by himself, get the dish. Havercamper stalls it to the far side. Drafinho in. Leo gets bumped. Sad might have control of this one for free. He's been given a lot of space. Passes up to Leo. Back in front. Sad up for the 1-2-1. Oh, and it's off the crossbar and out again.
Oh my goodness, and we saw those plays, I believe in the last series from the 3 Sins. It was Maddox who is so good at squeezing that in off the double tap where you have barely any space. Unfortunately for PDHM, they can't get the goal, but we're seeing a much more aggressive team. These guys know that they had to pick up the pace, and they've done it so far in Game 2.
Leo up on the solo challenge, gets what incredible dunk in the air. Firefox getting harassed from behind, still takes control, pushes the ball to the corner. Sad will pick it up. Get it back into the blue. Havercamper, a miss in the corner. Firefox plays it off of his own side. Drafinho up for the shot. Excellent read. Dunks them and gets their first goal of the series.
Oh, yeah, and I'm loving this aggression there from Leo. He's forcing Firefox to go off the wall and try to get it clear that way instead of going into the 50. It pops right out for Drafinho, who's got a better shot right into the top corner. PDHM, this aggression, I'm loving it. Game 2, they have so much more pace. They're taking boosts. They're being aggressive. We're seeing some passes. We haven't seen too many demos, but I'm eventually going to see that formula that they have in their name get completed here, Wade.
Just running over the top of one. Havercamper up for it to the backboard. Sad extends it to Leo. Now back down. Here's Drafinho in his own corner. This one taking an awkward bounce that none of the PDHM defenders really want to touch. Havercamper gets Sad out of goal, and Leo covers it up. Back at midfield, Drafinho, quick turn on this one, up against 2 offenders, gets it through 1 though. Sad now to try and get it out of his corner. The ball keeps going straight to the corner. Constantly we're seeing the PDHM defense struggle to get a solid clear. They're getting it out of their box, but not out of their half. Finally, here's a breakout attempt, a nice 1-2 play. And a quick counterattack. Deflected by Renan, turned back around, past the Firefox, but behind his teammate, he'll just loft it. Havercamper's going to try to adjust for this. Firefox actually chases this himself, and then Sad will get it back out to Drafinho and back to midfield. We are starting to come through a little bit better here for PDHM.
Yeah, but I'm still a little bit concerned for their defense now. They started out very fast-paced. They were beating Noble to a lot of the challenges, but now we come back out here. This is looking like a repeat of Game 1, where Noble are just keeping them stuck in their corner, forcing really poor clears. And the passing and vision is just a little bit superior than PDHM because they can't break out. They can't get those 1-2 passes that you complimented them on earlier, Wade.
Well, 2:05 left to go. It is all on Noble's shoulders here to get on the board. Leo across the field, Renan to the side, and he gets one touch, pinches it off the ground. What a shot. Drafinho, though, blocks it at the goal line.
Oh,
now bumps onto the defense, leaves it wide open. Firefox will score.
Oh my goodness, look at the bump. Renan, he's coming across, he sees Sad, knows that he's about to jump for the aerial, bumps him in to, I believe, the second player who was going up for that shot. A double bump, that was a pool shot bump. That play, I love watching that.
That was just completely bulldozed. Just out, please, go away, and leave the net wide open. Tie game with 1:40 left to go. Noble, after a just haphazard beginning to this series, struggling with internet connections, the one thing you never want to have to deal with as a professional esports player. They have bounced back and won the first game and now tied up a second game in style, looking to take the lead here. The block from Drafinho and the extension from Leo will handle that one just fine. Sad now up to the corner. He's got Drafinho behind him. Drafinho's already going for it into the box. Habercamper to put it high, running to follow through the air. How much boost does he have? Enough to get it all the way through, and Noble's on top.
Look at this setup from Habercamper. He backflips, pops it up perfectly for Renan, who can then just get a nice little air dribble, a couple of taps in the air, boost it over the third defender who's rushing back after an aggressive push from PDHM. That is how you counterattack, ladies and gentlemen. Noble still looking strong.
Here's Drafinho, though, looking for the response. Now trailing by one, they've got a minute left to work with. Sad, an excellent small touch, now looking for this follow-up. Loses the challenge to the edge, and Renan now sends it long way down the field, and oh dear, Leo just barely couldn't reach it. Now a 2-goal lead for Noble.
Yeah, and this is another, I would consider a counterattack play, actually, because it was a huge hit all the way from, I believe it was even behind the midfield line. Renan, the striker, the accuracy as well, and that's just from a big push from PDHM. They're being a little bit more aggressive. Granted, there's only a minute left. They have to throw everything they have at Noble, but the defense, just like in game one, is standing tall and seems to be unbreakable at this point.
42 seconds left. They're down by 2. A nice setup here, but no one's really in the midfield to take the shot for PDHM. Here's a follow-up again. Sad keeps it a little bit more competitive for the team as Leo's not going to try and chase this one down in the corner. Nobody in front of the box again, though. They've rotated out for boost, and they're losing these midfield challenges. We saw this in game number 1, or game number 2, rather, and now here in game 3, similar story. 20 seconds left. You've got to score 2. Drafinho struggling to get this ball towards the net as that midfield line from Noble just so strong. Sad will trap it on the ground, but 10 seconds left. It's got to go in right now, and Firefox has control in enemy territory. 5 seconds left. They'll score a third. No, they don't. What a save from Sad, but it's all a little bit too little too late. The clock is at 0. There's no way for PDHM to win game 3, and we'll see Noble go into game 4 on match point.
Yeah, and they do it very, very composed. I'm looking at their midfield defense. You even mentioned it, Wave, that they look very solid in the midfield area with winning challenges and being aggressive in that aspect. And they are waiting very patiently to go in for a lot of these 50s. Meanwhile, on the other side, PDHM, they're panicking a lot with their clears. You know, it was working really well for them to transition out with the 1-2 passes, but since the pressure from Noble is so consistent, they're starting to panic a bit more. They don't have any boost. They can't break out or find their own teammates. So for PDHM, they're just throwing themselves at the ball. Meanwhile, Noble, they're waiting for the opportunity to strike. They're waiting for that moment to go in for the challenge, to make sure they have the best opportunity or the best chances at winning that 50, and that's how they move forward. So PDHM, I don't know whether it's the boost game because that's getting stolen, or if it's just their own mentality that's slipping up, a bit here because they're panicking so much more.
Yeah, there's definitely a little bit more of just, I'm going to try and do what I can with the ball at this point, and their touches, even in the solo department, aren't that strong right now, and especially with how much they're getting beat in the midfield, it's really shutting down their ability to do much. But here's my thing, Turtle. They found a little bit of passing here in game 3. I don't think I saw a single demolition, and that's part of the huge money equation. So if you want to stop losing 50-50s, just remove the players who are playing the 50-50s. I'd love to see the demo game start to show up for PDHM.
Yeah, and I agree. As much as that sounds like, you know, you're being sarcastic, you're 100% right. With the demos, if you can incorporate that, it'll relieve a lot of pressure going against this Noble squad who's staying patient. And normally teams who are patient usually stay on the ground much longer. They're easier to demo because they're just waiting in the backfield. So if you have somebody, one player, just be aggressive, then you've got the huge money equation all set.
We'll see if they can put it together here on a critical game 4. Best of 5 single elimination. PDHM on the brink of being knocked out of the tournament. They've got to win it here and get us to game 5. And while the scoreline says that they have won a game in this series, that first game was a disqualification.
Yeah.
Because Firefox's internet connection. So PDHM yet to get a win.
Sad.
On the pitch against Noble. There's a nice demolition and the goal. They put it together. The passes and the demos, they're equaling the huge money.
This is really making Gibbs proud, okay? The passing, the demos, and you got the huge money. Somebody crashes the net, the demo's there, the pass is there. Now you got huge money. Okay, 1-0, PDHM looking so much better in the first minute, of game number 4. This is great for them.
This is an important lead. We'll see if they can hold on to it. They scored first in game 3 as well, and then dropped 3 straight to lose it. I want to see a second goal for PDHM. Noble already breathing down their necks, trying to tie up the series. Tie up the game, rather. Camper into the backfield. Sad with the response. Out of boost, but with the soft touch to Leo. One over the defense, onto the backboard. Firefox with a touch, and he's going to stretch for a second one here. Well, how about it? And then a demolition onto Sad on offense, actually, will relieve a bit of pressure, but this one nearly going in. Renan traps it against the post, gets it back out in front of the box, and then uses his teammate to get it to midfield. Noble's defense holding on just fine.
Oh, and there's those midfield challenges again from Noble. This one in front of the box almost slips in. Firefox, he's got the cleanup. You said don't own goal. This was exactly a situation where you panic and get an extra touch. What a play.
This is crazy that it actually took all 3 players to go in. And yeah, before Sad could touch it there. We'll see Firefox finish that one off, and immediately they've tied it back up. Noble come alive on the small ball play. I love the presence of mind from Renan on that play of trying to hold on to ball control above all else. He didn't care really where the ball was going as long as he was underneath it, and he was the one who could influence it the most directly. And that gives them all the control they needed.
It was almost like there was a 50 in the midfield that pushed the ball forward for them to have an opportunity of Renan, being up front and go for that smart, methodical play, keep it slower. So if you win the 50s in the midfield, that's what this game seems to be resulting in. Whoever wins those 50s has the stronger opportunity, is probably going to strike first.
Well, Noble with strong opportunities. We've been talking about their 50s game all day. Now we see some dribbles for PDHM, and pass out from Leo. Where's Drafinho? He's very far back in his own half. Comes forward, still managed to get the first touch on it, but at that point it was turning into a positional touch instead of a shot. Renan going to try and pinch this one off the ground. Drafinho to cover him up and challenge Haberkamper. Ball goes to his corner.
That was one of the craziest touches I've seen from Renan. I mean, you saw him pop up. Did you see he got bumped and then still got a touch? I just had to point it out because I have no idea how he kept that one up.
He has got such immaculate car control. I mean, we saw, I believe it was him that in game 3 was pinching the ball off the ground after dismounting the wall and actually got it straight on target. Renan incredibly good at this game. Haberkamper comes down, tries to get it towards the goal. Covered up by Drafinho. Now Firefox onto the backboard. Sad. Over 2, and now into the empty corner. Haberkamper will pick up his boost and try to rotate this one out, but getting beat at the ceiling by Drafinho. Leo now going to try and challenge Renan. Renan wins it now up against Sad, flicks it over him, but it's too far. Won't be wide of the goal, not an immediate shot. Pressure already on, though, for Nobles. They've tied up this game. They're looking for the lead and for the win in the series.
Oh, and Haberkamper again winning the midfield challenge. They're keeping this pressure on. Now Renan going for the bumps himself. This aggression working out. Firefox has an open net, but the angle, it was difficult. I don't want to blame him for that, but there was a small window of time where he could have put it in.
Renan through the air and gets beaten, or the ball gets taken away by Drafinho after he lost control. Now 1 minute left. Critical game 4. PDHM's got to get the win here. Sad will pick it up out of his corner. Drafinho gets bumped upfield. He'll rotate back behind his teammates who are both grounded. Gets beat by Renan again. It's Renan's midfield game. He's always good to win at least the first challenge.
Yeah. Well, I think it's because he's so patient on when to challenge the ball or also when to dribble. And now in the midfield again, Firefox, early shot. That one was so far out. Haberkamper now wins the next challenge, of course. And Renan can push forward. Firefox, the cleanup, doesn't have it. But again, Wade, you can even see how important these challenges are on the field.
Yo, if I'm Noble right now, I'm believing any challenge Renan makes. If he's challenging in the corner like that up against the goalie, it's gonna cross the net. Just believe and go for it. 10 seconds left. Tie game at 1 apiece. Here comes PDHM looking to win in regulation. Blocked at the goal line. Ball lofted in enemy territory. Leo's going to try and come down on this one. Bounce it over the top of 1. Clock is hit 0, and the ball will touch the ground. Overtime in game 4. Noble scores. They move on to the semifinals.
Yeah, and this is tough. PDHM, you know, you think they had momentum with that 1-game win, but it's really not anything that they worked for. It was almost a gift to them. So they don't have any confidence knowing that they can beat this Noble squad, who is so dominant.
Oh, this is dangerous. Leo wins a critical 50-50 and gets the ball back to midfield, but Renan's the one to pick it up. Sends it really high. Sad will get this one over the top of him and played into the corner. Haberkamper very loose in goal, but nobody home for PDHM to try and take the shot. Leo demolished in his own back third despite the ball being in the enemy corner. Sad out to the edge. Leo trying to take control. Spends all of his boost chasing this ball onto the backboard, and Haberkamper and Firefox will move it to the other side of the field. Haberkamper down the field. Firefox bumped out of the way. Leo, he's got lots of space. He'll pick up 1 touch and now sends it towards the goal. Renan feels backflip, and that's the goal for PDHM. We're going to game 5.
Oh, I feel responsible for this. We were complimenting Renan this whole time. We cursed the man. He gets a backflip instead of going for that save. He wasn't even in the best position, but that is so frustrating. Renan, the smart player, ends up making that mistake. And like you said, we've got game 5.
We do have a game 5 on our hands. And in Renan's defense, I don't think he was going to catch that ball, even if he didn't feel his backflip there. It was a great shot from Leo as he scores both the goals and gets himself a savior medal, definitely the MVP for PDHM, and giving them an opportunity here to play 1 5-minute period to send them through to the semifinals and knock out the favorites Noble.
And we've got to give respect now to PDHM. They showed up with the demos that we were asking for. We saw how important that was. And the space that it opened up. But now this play again, that was so awkward with the 50s. A couple of good looks then from Firefox with the midfield shooting. I thought they were shooting very well and early on. But at the end of the day, PDHM, they came to play. They've got the confidence now going into game 5. They know they can beat this Noble squad. This game 5 is going to be closer than ever.
I'm excited to get into it. And here's the thing. If I'm Noble, though, I'm going to come back to something I said in the middle of that game. Just believe Renan. Believe the challenges he makes. Be willing to move upfield for the shots. There were so many opportunities they had where they could have taken it if there was just someone in front of the net to score on the open net. Is this one above the box? Here comes Rafinha, blocked by Renan off to the side, and he'll look for the counterattack. We saw Noble score on counterattacks galore. There's a nice attempt, 2 touches, and Sad has to make the save. He does get the block. Now back down the field. The pass in the mid. Leo got 2 defenders out of it. It's all the Firefox. Rafinha's got him beat onto the backboard. Here's Sad. Just the softest touch. They'll get so many, though. And that's PDHM up first.
There was so much time for somebody out of Noble to get back. And Firefox, he went so early to go for that challenge. He needed to stay in net, rotate back, realize his teammates were off so far away. Just get back in net, try and get the save, but instead he challenged early. PDHM, they had all the time in the world to get that first goal.
I would love to catch the, oh my gosh, never mind. Firefox double taps him on the kickoff. We're tied back up.
Oh my goodness, I was just talking about Firefox in the backfield, and then now he comes out on offense looking so dang good with the double tap. This is the game 5 you expect. Crazy goals where everybody is so speedy on the ball. The aerials we're seeing going at Mach 10 and then now come out with a double tap. I love to see it.
Firefox looking for a second one here. Off the ground, through another goalie. Leo's up for it, and he'll get the block, but can he get 2? He does get 2. Into the backfield. Stat's got an open net to shoot at. 3 goals, and we're not even out of the first minute yet.
And I'm not sure what happened to the Noble defense. At first, everybody knew when to go for a challenge. They were winning the 50s, and now Leo dunks Haberkamper to get their second goal. It's the first time I feel like we've seen PDHM look the most dominant in midfield, and it results in a good one.
Yeah, that was quite the challenge. Wins the first one and then stays airborne to win a second one. That was Leo putting the team on his back and setting up Sad with the easiest goal of his career. Now Haberkamper in the corner, cleared by Sad. Leo to try and extend it to Rafinha. Into the corner, up against Renan. Pass down to Firefox. He'll just send it towards the net. And I do love the Noble counterattack game. They are not afraid to just absolutely blast the net from any part of the field. Just force PDHM to stay honest, to keep a player in the far back. That's helping reduce that aggression that we know PDHM can bring. Now Sad onto the backboard. Haberkamper gets it. Back to midfield. I've run in to try and bounce it around the inbound defenders, but Rafinha waited for the read. And now here comes Renan. Up against Leo. Flicks it high. Leo to reach it just enough boost to get the save.
And this more aggressive offense of Noble is acting like a double-edged sword. As this shot from Habercamper a little bit too weak. But I was mentioning it's a double-edged sword because, you know, you go for the aggressive play, but if you don't get that final shot or a solid 50, you're giving a free counterattack to PDHM, almost wide open for them to get a goal, and that was what happened in the midfield for their second one. Noble need to be a little bit more cautious, or at least make sure they can win that challenge that they were doing so well in the first 2 games.
Like the demo. PDHM, they've got the ball back down into the blue. Another demolition on the Habercamper. Starting to find the demos, got to find the passes, but also Renan going to be the key demolition here, as he has been so fast and so clean at the dribble game as well. Yep. Firefox into a corner. Trifino through one. Here's the shot from Leo. A demolition onto Renan and goal. Here's Sad. The pass back towards the net and the play. Oh, the pass was there and the shot was there. Well covered up by the rest of the defense.
Yeah, and there was another opportunity for PDHM where they had the speed covered on the side of their offense, where Noble needs to get somebody up for the challenge, but they're too slow. PDHM on the shot are so fast to get up, and Noble can't match that pace. So if you can get that accuracy up a little bit, you're looking at your 3rd goal.
Firefox and Renan trying to push this one in and tie the game back up. 2 minutes left. PDHM in unlikely fashion on top. They'll try to hold it, get to the semifinals here. Back across, down the middle. Leo up against Habercamper, goes to the corner. Trifino over the top of 2. They'll chase it down. A nice setup pass. Firefox running to stop it, and Firefox to block any reads from the rest of PDHM. 2 defenders up for it on the small touch, but they'll reground themselves and get onto offense. 1:35 on the clock. The trailing team pushing onto offense. Renan going to lose a challenge to Sad, and Sad going to look for the demo on Habercamper. Couldn't quite find it. Firefox now looking to connect with Renan, who stayed aggressive in enemy territory, but the counter clear. Coming through from the rest of PDHM. Back in front of the box. A soft touch. The slow play. Firefox gets the save. Renan on the counterattack. The shot is wide. It's going to need a second touch, and he doesn't have the boost to reach it.
Oh my goodness, this game is so fast-paced. You see counterattack after counterattack from both teams. The double-edged sword I mentioned earlier from Noble now coming out, because they keep Renan a little bit more offensively positioned, but that means you're giving more space to PDHM to work with what they've got and get a solid shot.
On the backboard once more, 52 seconds left in PDHM. Their lead holding. Firefox doesn't make contact. Sad shot is good. 2-goal lead now. Habercamper couldn't quite get there.
And it's the same instance. Look at the speed difference. Sad is up so early to get that shot, and Firefox looks like he's a snail at this point. He is by far the slowest player to get up to that 50. You need to be faster. Find a challenge. The speed of PDHM Gaming. Oh my goodness, it's winning them this game at this point.
Oh, they might really do it. 37 seconds left. It's been 2 up, 2 down. A shot in. Firefox got the save. Keeps this within reach. They've got to find the counterattack. They've scored so many times on the counterattacks, but right now they need it more than ever. PDHM going to try and get this one out of their corner, but getting challenged high in the sky. Here's Renan. Now in the corner once more, beaten by Leo. Habercamper off the wall. Firefox up for it. He's got the boost to double tap this. He already got the flip reset. Falls on it. No! Defended. Trifino couldn't get there. Habercamper crashed the box but missed. 9 seconds left. Renan loses a challenge again. Trifino down the field towards the goal. Defended by Habercamper. They've got to get the full turnaround, but nobody's under the ball. Into empty space. Onto the ground. PDHM advanced to the semifinals.
You're seeing Renan lose a challenge in Game 5 after what he looked like in the first 2 games where we never saw him lose a 50. That's how you know PDHM have warmed up, feeling more confident. Even after that first game win, they were able to clutch it out in Game 5, earn their spot in the semifinals, And this was counterattack after counterattack, which is my favorite type of Rocket League to watch, where it's both teams without consistent pressure, just taking shots on the net, waiting to see who's going to crack.
Absolutely. I mean, what is this? 13 shots from PDHM in this game, but
great.
only 6 from Noble. And I do want to remind people that if this hadn't had the disconnect at the very beginning, we'd be going into a Game 5, possibly a reverse sweep situation for PDHM. But they get gifted that first game, and here they are now into the semifinals. Noble, rough series there, but proven Gibbs and Leaf right of all things. How often does that happen, Earl?
I mean, it's a rare thing, and I want to remind everybody that these guys faced off in the South American Grand Series #2 in Phase 2, and Noble were the people, or were the team, who won in Game 5. So Had that first game gone the other way, or he was able to get the connection, who knows what result we would have seen. But PDHM, at the end of the day, you know that they earned their spot and they played well.
They absolutely did. It's been incredible. That was a wonderful series, and we've got one more quarterfinal to get through before we get to our semifinal action. True Neutral going to be taking on Rebel. We'll see which of them gets to take on PDHM in the semifinals after this break.